Star Wars continues to storm, bringing both new hope and ongoing chaos. On the one hand, the trailer for the Maul project was shown, and a change in Lucasfilm's management was announced. On the other hand, it seems that Rey will become the central character of the new trilogy, and some of the announced projects have been scrapped. In the next few minutes, we'll talk about what's happening in a galaxy far, far away right now, and why the studio has returned to George Lucas's work. Let's start with the good news, because Disney has released the first trailer for the animated series Maul the Shadow Lord. In general, it should be said that every year several small projects are released that explore different stories in the universe created by George Lucas. But why is there so much attention to the series about Darth Maul? Here we need to dive into the history of 15 years ago, when Disney acquired the rights to the Star Wars franchise. Darth Maul is a popular character in principle, but his roots go much deeper. George Lucas originally included ready-made ideas for the 7th episode in the deal, but the studio decided to go in a new direction, which ultimately led to the awakening of the Force. Maul, Lord of the Shadows, will be the first project after the departure of President Kathleen Kennedy. It promises to return to Lucas's vision and use his work. The first trailer showed quite a few shots, but one particular character stands out. This character is named Dion and Zara. Maul holds a tea ceremony with him and instructs him like a teacher. It is obvious that she is something like his protege. However, the story that Darth Maul survived the battle with Anakin and returned to take a young apprentice has been told before. George Lucas's original plan for the 7th episode of Star Wars was for Maul to have a Twi'lek apprentice named Darth Talon. Obviously, Devon and Zara are the equivalent in the new canon. Lucas intended to make a strong and loyal Sith apprentice in the sequel. Judging by the trailer, Maul's follower is not such an unambiguous figure, but at the same time, the similarity between Isara and Talon is easy to see. Both are Twi'lek women, both serve as Maul's proteges, and both are somehow involved in his reign in the criminal world. It is difficult to say now how central Darth Talon was in Lucas's version of the new trilogy. However, it is known that Maul was supposed to become the main puppet master, similar to Emperor Palpatine, and Talon was supposed to become the new Darth Vader. There is a feeling that Star Wars wants to make Maul a major character in line with Lucas's original vision, which is not surprising, given the nature of the franchise's latest projects. The plot of the new animated series takes place a year after the end of the Clone Wars. At the end of the war, Maul was shown escaping from Ahsoka Tann's custody during Order 66, when the Republic became an empire. Now we will see how he fights against the new Galactic Order, seeking to build his own foundation of power. The spin-off shows Maul at the peak of his power. The Rebels showed him without the criminal syndicate and seeking revenge on Obi-Wan. Now the Lord of Shadows will reveal how Maul has adapted to the new Galactic Order. The trailer shows us the new planet Janix, home to a city built in a giant crater. It is isolated from Imperial influence, making it the perfect place to build a crime syndicate. Maul is an Imperial fugitive, and it appears that local law enforcement is also looking for him. In addition, in one scene, it appears that he has new allies in the Night Brothers. It is assumed that he has returned to his native Dathomir to recruit the Night Brothers from the clan to which his late brother Savage once belonged. Maul will also meet with 2 Imperial Inquisitors. The first is the 6th brother, one of the mysterious members of the Inquisitorius, who was ultimately killed by Tana Ahsoka. The second Inquisitor is Merrick, who fought Ahsoka in the first season of the Solo series. Darth is in Palpatine's sights. After the battle with the Inquisitors, it is possible that the Emperor will send Darth Vader himself to deal with him. This will create an epic meeting between the former and current apprentices of Darth Sidious. Maul and Vader come from 2 different periods in the Star Wars timeline. However, there were years when their paths crossed. Nevertheless, despite both being active from the end of the Republic to the middle of the Galactic Civil War, the 2 most iconic villains never actually met in canon. However, outside of the franchise's canonical universe, Maul and Vader did indeed fight. But this battle has been completely ignored since Disney acquired Lucasfilm. In the canon, their encounter came closest in Rebels, when Maul led Bridger to the ancient Sith temple in search of the holocron. Since Maul now has to fight both the Inquisitors and the Empire, this is ideal for his final battle with Darth Vader. While we wait for the release of The Rise of Skywalker, it turns out that Daisy Ridley may return to the role of Rey in a new trilogy by Simon Kinberg. This has been reported by insiders and indirectly hinted at in Kathleen Kennedy's farewell speech. First, the new Jedi Order, led by Rey, has not been cancelled. The director is still listed as Marvel's showrunner, Sharmeen Abaith. Second, Rey's story will not end there. According to insiders, the plot of the next 3 episodes will be built around her. However, the main focus will be on new characters. Simon Kinberg, director of Days of Future Past and co-writer of Rebels, is set to helm episodes 10 through 12. In her latest speech, Kathleen Kennedy confirmed that he is still working on the script. After it was rewritten several times and turned upside down, Kinberg was given back the script to revise. He last presented the synopsis in August. A detailed plan for the new trilogy is now ready and has been approved at all levels. The draft of the 10th episode should be ready by March. Kinberg's Star Wars trilogy is interesting in that it is closest to episodes 10, 11, and 12. Disney has never officially used these titles, but Kennedy's words indicate that the 3 films will be just that. It was previously reported that the studio has big plans for Daisy Ridley's character. She was supposed to be the connecting link between several future projects, similar to how the series are built around The Mandalorian. But with the departure of the current president, these plans may change, as there have been no official announcements yet. Against this backdrop, there is even information that Taika Waititi's separate Star Wars film is still alive. The director himself confirmed that the project has not been cancelled. There is a draft script, and the target release date is 2028. Considering that Starfighter with Ryan Gosling is coming out next year, plans for the crucial role of Rey may still change. The status of Sean Levy's film is not entirely clear at this point. It seems to be called A New Beginning for Star Wars. But Kennedy's interview about the Kinberg trilogy suggests that it is still a separate film. The new executives will have to sort this out, because right now we have 2 confirmed films and a whole bunch of announcements. On top of everything else, there is hope that the film The Hunt for Ben Solo may still be released. Let's recall that the idea for the script was proposed by Adam Driver and Steven Soderbergh. The film even passed all levels of approval and was only frozen at the final stage. Frozen because Kathleen Kennedy confirmed that the project had been postponed along with the film The Rise of the Jedi. Although this is not a direct confirmation that The Hunt for Solo has been revived, Kennedy's statement is still good news. This means that the project has not been definitively cancelled, giving Lucasfilm's new management the opportunity to resume negotiations on starting production. This is supported by the fact that Dave Filoni will head the studio's creative direction, like James Gunn at DC, and he was one of those who supported Driver and Soderbergh's script from the very beginning. In general, in a galaxy far, far away, there has clearly been a lack of a unified direction for development all these years. After the success of The Mandalorian, there were more and more series, and as we all know, not all of them were warmly received by fans. Some overlapped in terms of plot, while others were spin-offs of spin-offs, albeit of the highest quality. It was much more difficult with the films because, despite decent box office returns, most fans did not like the latest trilogy. But Star Wars felt right at home in animation, successfully expanding and complementing the existing canon. It's no surprise that Filoni and Kinberg, who came from that world, have already proven that they understand what the franchise should be. Their vision resonates with fans, so there is hope that the chaos in a galaxy far, far away will finally end and development will continue in a unified direction. Because in addition to the projects already announced, some were loudly announced and then safely forgotten. We are, of course, talking about Kevin Feige's film, which was never mentioned again after its announcement. Now we are eagerly awaiting to see what Mandalorian and Grogu will show us in the cinema. The film will be released in May and, if successful, will consolidate the direction set by Jon Favreau. This means that in the future we may see solo films featuring other characters. We were promised an epic crossover on the big screen with various heroes from the released series. But for now, we are waiting for official announcements from the studio's new management and closely following the Star Destroyer from Shona Levy. If there is a new hope, it is here. Be sure to share your opinion about the change in leadership at Lucasfilm in the comments. Is this a good decision? Or was a change in leadership long overdue? And what do you think about Rey Skywalker's increased role? Should she be brought back in the new trilogy? Or is it time to end her tragic cameo? That's all for today, friends. See you in new videos very soon.